Elements by Rejux on AO3. Chapter 15. Chapter 14. Chirper. Elements. At elements_UA. Are you ready for the season premiere of Baby and Me? Tune in on STV tonight at 18:00 GAST. Image of Elements peace signing the camera with Coda. Number 1 Katsuki ever at Katsuki_the_immortal at elements_UA. Same image uploaded by Elements, only everyone except him and Coda have mustache and beards drawn on them. Coda has a little hat drawn on his head instead. Izuro at red_riot16 at Katsuki_the_immortal. You monster! You know I can't grow facial hair! Number 1 Katsuki ever at Katsuki_the_immortal at red_riot16. Out of the kindness of my heart, I did you a favor. Midoriya Izu at Midori715 at Katsuki_the_immortal at red_riot16. I look like a baby. Number 1 Katsuki ever at Katsuki_the_immortal at Midori715 at red_riot16. Maybe you should have been the baby instead. Lol. Izuro at red_riot16 at Katsuki_the_immortal at Midori715. To be honest, I think we didn't all enjoy that too much. Izuro at red_riot16 at Katsuki_the_immortal at Midori715. Gift of a troll face with a dancing stick body. Izuro at red_riot16 at Katsuki_the_immortal at Midori715. I'm sorry. Snappygram. Midori715. His butt is also asleep. Image 1 is of Kaminari looking smug as Izumi naps with his head on his lap. Image 2 is of Kaminari with his face in his hands as Izumi continues to nap. Comments. R.I.P. I wish I was in that kid's place. Whew! You feel bad, but you can't stop laughing. Katsuki01. A Deku in its natural habitat. Image of Midoriya taking the picture of Kaminari with his face in his hands. Comments. Are you bored? That boy is prettier than me and I don't fucking care. Does someone need attention? Please make a real natural documentary about Izuku. Red Riot 16. This wasn't planned. Nope. Image of Bakugou eating a protein bar while taking a picture of Midoriya taking a picture of Kaminari with his face in his hands. Comments. Really? I would have never guessed. I can't believe after so long, after the only other pic in your snappy is your knee, we're blessed with this. His knee is also a blessing. Well, yeah, I know, but we need more blessings. We need more pics of Bakugou eating. The squirrel in his natural habitat staring at his boys. Look at this photograph. Katsuki's phone gallery. Shirtless reflection of himself in the mirror. The dog from the park. Selfie with Deku at a cafe. Deku fast asleep in his futon. Coda peace signing at the camera. Another selfie with Deku on the secret summer set. At a restaurant, Izuro eating ramen, giving him a thumbs up. Close-up of Deku covering his own face. It hadn't even been a full 2 weeks since they started dating, and Katsuki was feeling angsty. Things were going a little too well for the two of them. Izuro didn't know about the relationship. He was aware of Katsuki's feelings, but not the relationship that finally came from it, he assumed. If Denki figured things out, he hadn't said anything. And the same for Shoto. The last few weeks, Katsuki and Deku held back on their affection. And that was absolute torture for Katsuki. With every moment they had together, whether it was in front of the staff or on camera, Katsuki took extra care to give their 3 bandmates attention. Admittedly, he felt shamelessly pride swell within him the moment Ijiro told him that the blonde was giving him a run for his money as the band's sheepskin king. Katsuki didn't care if it meant the rest of the world was fooled. But things were going so well with the band, no one was questioning how affectionate he had become, when usually any change in behavior would make Ijiro interrogate him at least. Adding to the frustration that was the fact that Deku was so close to him every night, and he couldn't even hold him. They did go as far as holding hands underneath their connected covers, but that was as good as it was gonna get. Especially when Deku would let go of his hand after 5 minutes because, Kachan, your hand is so sweaty. Regardless of whether the group knew or not, they still had to worry about camera crew coming in and out of the house at any given moment. He didn't know how he was going to survive the rest of the filming. Nearing the end of the second week since the start of Katsuizu's couples, as fans online have started calling them, relationship, Katsuki's nervousness about their band reached an all-time high. Relaxing on his futon between Deku and Ijiro, it took a moment to register when Shoto let out a long breath and spoke up with, "Alright, I think it's time we had a talk." "What about? Is something wrong?" Deku looked up from his notebook. "Everything is fine, for the most part." His next words were hesitant, but the looks Ijiro and Denki gave him were enough to push him forward. "There's something we need to discuss with you two." Katsuki felt sick, and he knows Deku was inwardly panicking just as much as he was. Ijiro spoke next, taking the load of the situation off their leader's shoulders. The breadhead rubbed the back of his neck. "Know about you two. Like, it's been a while." On autopilot, Katsuki reacted instantly. What the hell is that supposed to mean? One part of him said to trust his bandmates, but the other part was telling him to fight until the very end to protect this secret. "You guys are dating, aren't you?" Instead of feeling like the world was ending, satisfaction washed over him from just hearing it come out of someone else's mouth. However, he pushed the feeling aside. "Seriously, where the hell did you get this idea? We are not..." He stopped the moment he felt Deku's hand on his back. "Kachan?" Deku said, and it was then he accepted that there was no running from this. The dark-haired man sighed and sat next to him, radiating awkwardness. "When did you guys find out?" "We suspected." Shoto's voice was warm. "Well, I did, for a while, that there was something there between the two of you. I didn't get confirmation until not too long ago, when I heard these two talking about you two actually dating. Denki and I had a bet going," Ijiro bragged. "We bet on whether or not you two would get together or keep pining. That said, I now have myself a crispy 1,000 yen I'm waiting to spend on like 8 of those mochi donut rings at the 7th market." Denki crossed his arms, not appreciating the reminder. "Anyways," the dancer cut in, "just watching you two lately has been painful, so we wanted to let you know that you don't need to keep tiptoeing around us." Katsuki and Deku paused. "We can cover for you if you need it." Shoto smiled. "You know you can count on us." Ijiro grinned. "Though it won't be free, those mochi donut rings aren't gonna pay for themselves." Katsuki crawled forward with a snort, giving him a shove. "Dude, payment or not, we're all bros here." Denki grinned. "You have our support 100%. And, well, we can't afford to lose you guys if something happens, you know?" Deku's voice cracked. "You guys..." Denki held up a hand. "Just keep the super lovey-dovey stuff on the down low. You're my bros, but do we really have to see you making out all the time? Like this?" Waiting all day to do this, Katsuki took Deku by the chin and turned his head, giving him a kiss on the lips. Kachan! Deku turned red faster than he was able to cover his face, but it was worth seeing Denki double chin. No worries. Katsuki felt so satisfied, looking back at their bandmates. We'll make out on our own time. Do you care about the noise at all? Deku smacked him with a pillow. Most discussed articles today. 1. Selfless hero Toga Tamiro, hospitalized after saving child from speeding car. 2. Todoroki Enji. I hope my son learns about the difficulties of fatherhood through this show. 3. Regular ordinary Katsuki meal time. Elements. Katsuki pre-debut screaming cooking videos. 4. Big 3 officially on hiatus until further notice. 5. Girl rescued by Big 3 Togata, revealed to be long-time missing child. 6. Behind the scenes of Baby and Me upcoming season. 7. Sin-X anime, Choo Choo, meets with great response. 8. Codename, Midnight finally... 8. Codename Midnight, officially given rating R18. 9. The end of an era, onto a new generation, Ingenium. 10. Yari Ozumomo to release single featuring Elements. He likes strawberries, doesn't he? Yup. Katsuki filled his grocery basket with ingredients meant for cake. Deku came over with a small carton of strawberries, placing them into the basket as well. It was a group decision to do something nice for Koda, as his birthday was still a ways off. Katsuki and Deku were put in charge of baking a cake, while Ijiro stayed behind with the child. Shoto and Denki were given the responsibility to find presents Koda would like. Cameras were still on every single one of them. Should we also give him pudding? He's already getting cake. Well, yeah. The dark-haired man looks around. But to snack on tomorrow or whenever? Katsuki didn't answer, half listening, as he looks over flour. Deku started to mutter. Maybe instead of pudding, we could try apples. They might be healthier. He likes pears, too. Pudding might be cheaper. We already have strawberries. Halfway through his muttering, Katsuki picked out the flour and caught what Deku was saying to himself. We've been given a budget, though, and his health is important, so... Deku. He jolted. Ah, yeah, are we good on everything? Katsuki reached over and pinched the other man's nose. Get him the pudding and whatever. Pears. If there isn't enough in the budget, I'll cover the rest. Ah, Kachan. If you can grab the stuff, I'll head this way for the banana milk. Katsuki turned on his heel and started walking. He smiled to himself, hearing Deku's footsteps hurry in the other direction. Even with the two of them being filmed in public, no less, Katsuki felt a sense of pleasure shopping with Deku. After grabbing the banana milk, he headed back in Deku's direction, mind drifting to how many more times they'd be doing this together. Maybe one day, the two of them could go shopping for themselves, as a proper couple. As if the world read his thoughts, he glanced at the window and saw a couple walk by, arms locked, turning away from the window. He caught Deku coming towards him with the pudding and 2 pears. His eyes also trailed after the happy couple before they disappeared past the window. Katsuki ignored the bitterness that pooled in his gut. To better surprise Koda, they went to Deku's family home to bake the cake. With Inko feeling self-conscious about having cameras in her home, the film crew left for the Baby and Me house. That was a breath of fresh air. Inko led them to bake, letting them know she'll be at the Bakugou's household having tea. Katsuki asked her not to tell his mother he's there. Inko laughed and said she could make no promises, leaving after patting both boys on the cheeks. And then, finally, actual alone time with Deku. The two moved around the kitchen the best they could with limited space. Deku followed Katsuki's orders, not trusting himself to do anything without permission. It was difficult baking a simple cake with 2 people, when Katsuki could easily do everything on his own. But they managed. It wasn't long before they got into the oven and had nothing left to do but wait. Deku leaned back against the counter. Almost there? Barely. Katsuki checked the timer. After it bakes, we still gotta wait for it to cool before we do any fancy shit with it. More waiting, but I'm not complaining. The shorter man sighed. A part of me just wants to take as much time as possible so we can just hang out. Katsuki took one look at him before his feet moved on their own. In an instant, they bumped noses, with his hands on the counter on each side of Deku. Wide, green eyes gazed back at him, as if he was waiting for something. His mind drifted to the couple they saw walking by the supermarket. Deku. Deku's hands lifted up to his jaw, fingers lightly tracing over the skin. Didn't that piss you off? Didn't what piss me off? Katsuki tenderly bumped their foreheads together, and Deku dropped his hands to wrap his around the blonde's instead. He appreciated how warm Deku is. Not being able to do anything. Having to hide this. Saying it out loud, Katsuki wished he had really realized it when they first asked each other out. So what if it'll be easier for them to secretly date compared to other celebrity couples? Having to hide it was still painful. I hate hiding. Katsuki murmured. I hate not being able to go out on real dates with you. Even if we had the time, we still can't. I hate it so much. He wanted to hold his hand, kiss him, hug him, take cheesy couple photos with him. Katsuki wanted the world to know that Midoriya Izuku was his boyfriend, but he couldn't. He couldn't gush to anyone about this handsome boy who warmed his way into Bakugou Katsuki's heart like it was nothing. I know, Deku said, tilting his head to kiss him. I hate it too, but just being able to spend time with you like this is enough for me. As Katsuki pressed their lips together, he couldn't stop thinking about how perfect he is. Perfect? Am I? Are you sure you're good enough for that sort of thing, Ka-chan? He felt the voice nag at him in the back of his mind. Deku's hands reached up once more, and Katsuki felt his fingers run through his hair. Are you sure, Ka-chan? That voice that mocked him for so long in his dreams began to waver, and he didn't realize how out of breath they are before he broke the kiss. He studied Deku, searching his fingers for anything that might say Katsuki doesn't deserve him. Instead, he found nothing but trust, hope, and adoration. He was beyond perfect, and Katsuki didn't deserve him at all, but... Lips lightly brushing, he murmured, as more of a resolve to him than to the man in front of him. I'll fight for you. Izuku smiled against his lips. I'll fight for you too. Whether or not he truly deserved him, he meant it before, and he meant it now. He'd be damned if he had to give him up without a fight. Because in this world, I only see you. Did you know the way you give me pain is done solely by you? I need you so much. Daisy. Bright Smile. Songwriter. Bakugou Katsuki. End chapter 14. The band knows. I mean, we know they knew, but like Shoto having like the whole, yep, I knew it. So I'm glad that they're supporting them. And I have a feeling that the big climax of this is gonna be obviously the fandom finding out, and they're gonna be, you know, the whole band's gonna be found out, and people are gonna be like, oh my god, they're dating, and then like the company's like, oh, you two can't date, blah 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 blah, whatever, stuff like that. So I wonder how that's gonna go on, and I really hope that Toga does not come back, but she has every possibility of coming back. So yeah. Also, I have a feeling that we're going to be seeing a lot less of Dream Deku, so I'm sad and happy at the same time. As I've mentioned before, I really like doing Dream Deku. So if anybody has a a villain Deku fanfic that you want me to do and Podfic, put it or just recommend stuff, put it in the description, and I'm gonna see what I can do. I'm gonna ask for permission and see what I could do, because I desperately need more of this quote-unquote dream Deku kind of persona thing. So yeah, put it in the description. I'll see what I could do. I'll ask around. So yeah, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.